Today I will show you exactly how you can rank #1 on Google. I have used this strategy to attract millions of visitors to my websites, but before we start, I need to make a confession. I started building websites and blogs because I thought that it would be enjoyable and an easy way to make some side income and to spread information across the globe. But then the reality hit me. I watched some guides and tutorials where these SEO gurus told me that running a successful website is 90% technical and it involves keyword placements, link building, expensive SEO tools, and all kinds of similar SEO strategies that boost your website to rank higher on search results. I was very disappointed. I definitely wasn't ready to learn yet another technical skill that would take years to master. But I wasn't gonna give up that easily. I actually wanted to try if it is possible to build websites that rank high on search results without even knowing what SEO stands for. That's exactly what I did. Now I have been using my SEO-free strategy for 2.5 years and I have attracted millions and millions of visitors from Google to my different websites and blogs without worrying about SEO at all. Today I will show you how search engines actually work and what SEO really is. More importantly, I will reveal you my unique, non-technical and beginner-friendly SEO-free strategy for ranking high on search results. So let's jump into it. Now before moving on, I would like to invite you to check my free blogging masterclass. I've left a link to it in the description. In this masterclass, I teach you everything you need to know to start a successful blog this year. Before you start a website or blog, it is important to realize what it actually takes to rank high on search results and get visitors from Google and other search engines. So, for a website to rank high on Google, it needs only two things. One, Google needs to consider the website a credible and trustworthy resource in that particular topic. Two, Google needs to consider that website or web page the best result for a search query. What's interesting is that there are two and only two things you can do to actually make sure that these two apply to your website. The first thing you need to do is to cover your niche from A to Z. When it comes to ranking high on search results, your blog or website needs to have the loudest voice in the room. In other words, Google needs to treat your website as one of the most credible and trusted resources in that particular niche on the entire internet. But how on earth do you do this? It all boils down to writing blog posts. So no matter which online business or website you're running, if you want to build trust in the eyes of your audience and search engines, you need to write a ton of niche-specific related blog posts to it. So, for example, if you're running a tennis business online and you want to rank high for a search query like best tennis shoes, you can't just go ahead and write a blog post or page that covers tennis shoes. Instead, what you need to do is establish your website as an authority or expert in the tennis niche by writing hundreds or even thousands of tennis-related blog posts to the website. And this is really the only way to do it. Back in the day, you could trick Google to think that your site is more trustworthy and reliable than it actually was by implementing these SEO strategies such as link building, keyword placement, LSI keywords, and such. But these days, Google is miles ahead of us and it actually values content that is written humans first and that's actually valuable and useful for the reader. These days, if you try to implement one of these SEO strategies, you are more likely to be penalized by Google than having any benefit from it. So basically, SEO is all about writing quality blog posts that solve problems for people in a particular niche. But it's definitely not just enough to write a random blog post that covers some random related topic. Instead, each blog post should be like a micro business. It needs to solve a problem and do it in a better way than anyone else has ever done on the entire internet. This way, you leave Google absolutely no other options but to rank your blog post high on search results. So let's take a brief recap of what you have learned thus far. So to build a successful website that ranks high on search results, it needs to cover the topic from A to Z by writing a ton of quality blog posts. So now the question is, how do you actually write those blog posts then? Well, let me show you. The first step before writing a blog post is to find a topic to write about. Your blog post topic shouldn't be just some random thought that came up into your mind, but it actually needs to solve a problem in your niche. There are 4 simple and free strategies you can use to find blog post topics to your website. First, use Google search suggestions. So just open up Google, type in something related to your niche, and see what Google suggests. These are great blog post topic candidates. The next step is to check the People Also Ask section. So Google up something related to your niche, hit enter, and scroll down the page until you see the People Also Ask section. And these are great blog post topics or even some subheading ideas to your blog post. The third tip that I can give you is to check those related searches at the bottom of the search results. So once again, Google up something related to your niche, scroll down all the way to the bottom of the page, and see the related searches. These, once again, are great blog post topic ideas or subheading ideas to your posts. One of my favorite ways for coming up with blog post topics is actually by stalking my competitors. So basically, I just go ahead and open up my competitors' website, head over to their blog section, and see what they have been writing about. This way, I don't even need to do the research phase that I just showed you on Google, but I can just cherry pick those topics from their blog. Just remember that if you do this, not all blog post topics are worth writing about. Only write those blog posts that are actually solving problems for people, and avoid those news types of articles or viral posts that many blogs these days have. So for example, Tennis Guide for Beginners is a good blog post topic, but something like this 10-year-old tennis prodigy is the next superstar is not that great of a blog post topic because nobody is actually searching for that online. And while I was editing the video, I noticed that what I just said was a bit misleading, so don't get me wrong, those news posts and social media posts are very great, but they are not what you're after because you want to rank high on search results and get visitors organically from Google. If you write a news post or social media post that has the potential of going viral, that's great, but that's not what SEO is all about. Now the next step is to check the competition. So once you have chosen your blog post topic, it is actually time to check what it takes to rank high for that particular topic. Notice that this depends completely on the niche and the topic, but it is super easy to find out. So just open up Google, search for your topic, and open up the 5 to 10 top search results. This shows you valuable and completely free data. These top ranking pages are what Google considers the best when it comes to that particular search query. Just use these posts as your blueprint for writing yours. So for example, if every blog post in the top 10 search results has a yellow background, your blog post should also have a yellow background. And by the way, don't forget that you need to make every blog post the best piece of content on the entire internet. This means that your blog post needs to be better than these top 10 search results. So very naively speaking, let's say that there is a blog post that has 3,000 words and 20 images in it. Now your goal is to write 5,000 word blog post with 40 images in it. So just make sure not to write yet another blog post about that topic. Now that you have your topic chosen and know what it takes to actually outrank your competitors in the search results, let's consider the writing process of the blog post. Before writing the blog post, lay down the talking points of the post into the mix as subheadings. And by the way, one thing that I recommend doing right off the bat is to turn your blog post into a listicle post. In other words, make it a list of something. So for example, instead of writing a blog post such as how to start playing tennis, write a blog post like 7 steps for starting to play tennis. This listicle form benefits both the readers and the writers of the blog post. First of all, readers love numbers. If you write a post of, let's say, 15 actionable tips, that's much more appealing to your audience than a single 3,000 word wall of text blog post without a clear structure. For us writers, it is also much easier to split, let's say, a 2,000 word blog post into 15 actionable sections instead of writing one single 2,000 word blog post. Now keep in mind that you shouldn't actually force this listicle type. So if your blog post topic is, for example, a question that clearly does not need a listicle form, just write it out as it is. Now that you have laid down the talking points in your blog post, it is actually time to start writing the content. And if you have never written a blog post, it is actually far simpler than you thought, and let me show you why. So here are things to keep in mind when writing the blog post. Write short paragraphs. Write at most 2 to 3 sentences per paragraph. This makes it look nicer on mobile devices. Use simple language. Make sure to write for an 8th grader. The simpler the language, the happier your audience. Don't try to outsmart your readers. Solve their problem as quickly and as easily as possible. Make every word count. If a sentence or word doesn't contribute to solving a problem, leave it out. Add images. Use your mobile device's camera to take supporting images to your blog posts. Add image for roughly every 100 words in your content. Don't use images from stock libraries unless you absolutely have to. Specify alt texts to your images, so make sure that your blog post is accessible to people that are not able to see your images. By specifying an alt text, you're actually describing the image for people that are using screen readers to listen to the blog post. Add links to your blog post. To back up your facts, link to useful and trusted resources. Also, if you happen to have a blog post that relates to this one, make sure to link to it as well to keep the visitor on your site as long as possible. Also remember that writing is not all about writing text and adding images, but you can also split the text into smaller sections by adding bulleted lists, tables, numbered lists, and any other kinds of formatting elements. Now that's it for when it comes to writing your blog post sections. The next step is to write an introduction to your blog post. So don't just write a random blog post without an introduction, but actually start it with a clear and compelling introduction section that sells your blog post to the visitor. This is much easier to do in my experience when you have written the blog post already. Similarly, remember to write a short and concise conclusion section to the blog post with a call to action, such as to read another post in your website or to sign up for a newsletter, for example. Your goal is to capture the audience and keep them reading your blog posts and keep coming back for more. And also remember to write a compelling title to your blog post to capture the audience from the search results. Use numbers and strong words and adjectives in your blog post title to make it stand out even more. Now, when writing blog posts, keep this in mind. Always add to the internet. Remember, every single blog post takes space from Google search results, and Google does not want to add your blog post in their search results to eat up memory and space if it just repeats stuff that has already been told millions of times before. To battle this, always add something new to the table. This can be your unique take, experience, expertise, unique images, examples, and whatnot, as long as it delivers value to your audience. A blog post that does not add to the internet is not successful in the long run. And by the way, if you need inspiration for writing blog posts, make sure to watch my video about blog post types and templates. I have left a link to it in the description. Before you go, there's one thing I need to mention. There is a ton of misinformation about SEO strategies and how they can contribute to the success of your website. But the reality is that these days, those strategies don't really work anymore. But if you're told to do something on your website, I'm going to make it easy for you. Before making any change or action on your website, ask yourself this simple question. Does this directly help my audience? If the answer is no, just ignore it. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.